The BC Wildlife Foundation made a stop in Fort St. John, part of a series of town hall meetings that are being held across the province to shed light on the declining numbers of wildlife, fish, and natural habitats in the province. Graphs and charts illustrate a variety of animals and fish species that have been on the decline, especially over the past decade.
It's declining all across the province for a multitude of species. It's a crisis point, and we need, as citizens, to take this back for ourselves and ensure that those people that are in office and in politics hear our voice and support our way of life and support the wildlife for everybody in BC, not just the people that hunt and fish.
The message of unity to drive change was the main theme of the town hall discussion, and the importance of speaking out to politicians about the direct impact industry development is having on the land.
We weren't here to talk about micro parts of wildlife management, like about the moose season and stuff. We have to get past that because that's what we've been doing for years, and it obviously is not working. So we need to mobilize the public, make sure they're going to their politicians and tell them that wildlife and habitat for wildlife is really, and fish is really important, and only positive things can happen if we actually do that.
And the only way that'll happen is we get the First Nations people, we get the guides, the outfitters. There's a lot of people that just want to see wildlife. You don't have to be a hunter or a trapper or anything else. You just got to be concerned for wildlife and to put wildlife back on the mountain. And the only way that is going to happen is everybody gets united as one. And sit down at a table and don't worry about our differences. It's the number one goal. Put this game back out there.
We all need to be working together on the same playing field. So that round table where everybody has an equal voice is really important. So not to create any division. And we have to, and I think they did a really good job tonight supporting, not going down the let's divide and conquer and say who's doing this wrong and who deserves. I think if we all show up as a unified voice, we'll have a better turnout and better response from the government.
The BC Wildlife Federation is the largest conservation organization in BC, and they say the only way to ensure fish, wildlife, and habitat survives for future generation is to implement an independent funding model that would support conservation efforts in the future. They hope that dedicated revenue would provide social support and allow funding for research that would be critical in controlling wildlife populations.
What we advocate and almost insist on is let's make decisions based on facts and science. And so once we have funding, we can afford to go out and collect the data, get the science that says, is this species healthy? Are they declining? Are they at risk? And if we find that a species is at risk, BC Wildlife Federation members, we are the largest conservation organization. We are conservationists. We'd be the quickest ones to respond to help those species. And so that's the importance of that science piece, is you cannot make solid decisions without science.
And the overall message the BC Wildlife Federation has received on their cross-province tour is that people are concerned about wildlife in the province, and that voice is what's needed to make a positive impact and drive change.
I believe that we're on the verge of something great, particularly when we're working with all stakeholders, bringing in guide outfitters, First Nations, trappers, Wild Sheep Society, bow hunters, all those groups together, and any other stakeholders out there on the landscape that want to come to the table. And let's change this province forever.
Brendan Miller, CJDC-TV News, Fort St. John.